Good morning, this is Jack from Charting the Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Thursday, the 6th of November. My disclaimer is for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing and learn from it, transfer it to your own charts. I'm not here to issue trading signals. This is a video for paying subscribers at chartingthemarkets.substack.com. It's published on YouTube after a delay of 24 hours. Okay, right. Last night, in my evening charts, I marked in the potential, I mentioned the potential IHS patterns that might be forming here, and those are looking pretty good. Now we could see a morning dip to finish this off, but I'm thinking we may well play these may well play out, and if this breaks up, we'll have a target. Although obviously it can reject back into the lows, this will have a target at a retest of the all-time high. So I'm watching this with great interest. 16-minute buy signal from yesterday morning has reached the possible near miss target. Looking at NQ, that one's also reached the possible near miss target. RTY reached the full target, and DAX reached the possible near miss target. So we did get the rally that we were expecting, but those are now pretty much played out. In terms of the an IHS forming on NQ, we got another one of those, and a sustained breakup would look for a retest of the all-time high on RTY. Again, we got another one of those, and a sustained breakup. This wouldn't look quite for the all-time high, but it'd be pretty close. I think it'd be up in about the 25.50 area. Looking at YM, again, we got another one. Target would be in the area for the all-time high. Nothing really on DAX and nothing really on ESTX, but I'm thinking obviously we may see retest the all-time highs on those two. Let's have a look at the bigger picture charts, where on the daily chart, obviously we almost saw a retest of the back test of the middle band. We've got this open gap below, and we respected so far the rising wedge support. Now this is a nice looking rising wedge now. I firmed this up. We've got this trend line here, so I think this looks like pretty much the final wedge. I would be surprised to see a wedge of this quality break up with 3 touches on both sides. The next time it breaks down, it's likely to mean something. So we will see how that goes, but I'm really liking the setup here. It is nice. So we'll watch to see how that goes. In terms of hourlies, we're not going to get an hourly buy signal even if we retest the low. Not even faintly close to an RSI 5 buy signal on the daily. On the 15-minute chart, hang on, bear with me. We haven't got the IHS here, and this is one weakness with the patterns on ES, NQ, RTY, and WM is they don't exist on the RTH charts. But what we do have here on the RTH chart is a nice looking double bottom, which is already broken up on SPX, and that could just head up towards the target, which I've got in about the 68.85 area. Not quite back up at the retest of the all-time high, but getting pretty close. So we will see. All right, looking at Qs again, made it almost back to the daily middle band, didn't quite make it back to rising support. Looking at Dia, pretty much the same. Looking at the hourly chart, no current divergence and no prospect of getting one. Same on Dia. Dia, we actually had an RSI 5 buy signal, and that did make target, but we're not close to anything on the RSI 14. On the 15-minute chart, 15-minute chart on Qs, could this be an IHS? Yes, it could be, and very decent quality one with, again, a target pretty close to a retest of the all-time high. Looking at Dia, could this be an IHS? Yes. I'd like to see a bit more of a right shoulder, ideally, but yeah, this could be an IHS. So actually, we do have the IHSs in all 3 of them. We don't have it on IWM. The Dia one needs a bit more work on the right shoulder to look particularly credible, but would be valid. And we've got the double bottom on SPX, which isn't the IHS, but delivers more or less the same kind of thing. All right, let's have a look at the IWM chart. On the daily chart, we are still below the daily middle band, and that is the key resistance. I've got that at 245.84. No real prospect, no prospect of an RSI 5 buy signal, no prospect of an hourly buy signal. This is looking like, to me, this is looking an awful lot like a triangle forming. It could alternatively be a falling wedge of some kind. Sorry, a falling channel pretty close to it. Hang on, sorry, I'm just sorry. every so often I just see something, and if I see, I draw. So let's have a quick look and see how that would look as a channel. Bottom line, though, this looks like a bullish consolidation setting up a retest of the high, which was my lean pretty much, and kind of looks like that's the way it's heading. That's the triangle. Not a channel. That's the triangle, and it's a nice triangle. Now it still needs to get back to resistance, but this would be A, B, C, D, E, F. Retest the highs. So my lean would be that pattern's probably going to deliver. And I'm really liking that, so we shall see. Looking at the 15-minute chart, 15-minute chart, we've got no current divergence. DAX trying to get back up to the daily middle band, wondering about a retest to high. Obviously needs to get over the daily middle band first. Nikkei, we saw another day of downside here. It's come back and is testing the daily middle band. This would be a pretty good time to rally, but I would note that if we go down any lower, this possible RSI 14 sell signal is going to fix. That's not altogether a bad thing. I am thinking we're going to see some sizable declines in the market soon. I think we're seeing a lot of instability. The bond markets are flashing up warning signals. Repo levels are flashing up warning signals. The AI thing couldn't really much obviously be a bubble. It's not a 99 bubble where most of the companies in the bubble didn't have any earnings. We actually got quite a few companies that have earnings, but I'll be showing a chart next week. Actually, let's see if I can dig it up now. Hang on, just want to show it to you guys. This will be chart of the day sometime next week. But hang on, wait a second. Let's see if I can locate it. Sorry, I've got I saved quite a lot of charts. Here we are. All right, check this out. All right, this is the market cap of the Euro Stoxx 550. This is the market cap of the German market. This is the market cap of the Japanese market, and this in between them is the market cap of Nvidia. See what I'm saying here? It's kind of high. This is the market. This is. Hang on, wait a second. This is the full market cap of every stock in the UK stock market. That one's slightly less than Apple and Microsoft. This is the full market cap of the Magnificent Seven, and actually you can toss an awful lot of the rest of the world's stock markets into that. And is also larger than the whole stock market in China. So I'm just saying, we're looking very, very frothy here, and I've been posting a number of charts. I mean, another chart which certainly I've been looking at and wondering about is, of course, the this one I posted the other day, which is stock valuations relative to earnings. That's the big high in 1906, 1929, 1965, 1999. Whoa, new record here. Just saying. So this is something to think about. But am I thinking we might see a major corrections and possibly a crash next year? Yeah, I am. The US economy is not in good shape. There's no justification for these huge valuations. And I think the AI, frankly, is a bubble which needs to get some air out of it pretty fast, and it might come out at speed. The US economy is struggling. I think it's just a matter of time. So we will see how that goes. All right, great. Let's have a look at DX. Now, DX, we're getting pretty, we've seen a bit of a decline here. 60-minute sell signals reached a possible near miss target. Here, we are testing big double bottom resistance. And if we see a sustained break up, I've got a target slightly over 104. I think that looks pretty good. And obviously, I've been pushing it since before we made this low, and I really like it. I'm thinking we'll get up to 104, a big inflection point there where we can decide whether or not it's going to continue up into the retest of the high, which I think was at 114.78. Looking at ZB, ZB, we've seen a bit of a decline here. We've got, I was expecting to see a decline. This double top initially has made target. This head and shoulders, larger head and shoulders, is pretty close to target. And of course, this here is a potential head and shoulder neckline or asymmetric double top support. I'm thinking bonds have a considerable way to go down. And actually, sorry, it's obviously other charts today. This is what's going to be the chart of the day tomorrow. One thing I was saying, I did a whole post about a year ago, talking about slightly over a year ago, talking about the Fed cutting interest rates and saying the danger with doing this was that people would realize that they don't actually control interest rates. And you can see this is where the 30-year yield was then. This black line is the 30-year yield. This is Fed funds, which is stepping down. This is short-term rates, which of course are very tied to the Fed funds because that's only 3 months. This is before we started this cycle of moves down. Then this was at about 3.9%, and it's now at 4.75. So, and actually, borrowing rates are based on the 30-year yield and the 10-year yield, which is this line here. They're both up. The idea that the Fed can just reduce interest rates and then the government, certainly, Trump's been talking about this, and Besant's been talking about this, and it's based on a fundamental misunderstanding of the relationship between the Fed, which often tracks interest rates, but actually it's the bond market that controls interest rates. And there's no way this doesn't actually have any impact on bond yields. These will settle where they want to settle, and if they're heading in the opposite direction, as they did here, you can see this big move down was matched by a move up of the same size or larger on the 30-year yield. As we cut rates again here, we're seeing it bottom out and start going up again. That's not surprising. I was talking about that a year ago. The amazing thing is that actually a year on, no one seems to have really noticed that the Fed doesn't control interest rates, which was always just a polite fiction. All right, so ZB, bonds heading down at the moment, expecting these to go lower. We'll see how that goes. ZN has made the head and shoulder target. Might see a bit of a rally here, but no current positive divergence there too either. And we've got a large and very nice double top here that I'm leaning towards breaking down, although I've got less of a firm view about whether it will make target. Looking at CL, CL, that looks like a nice looking little falling wedge. And that is a pretty classic bull flag. Now, not all bull flags break up, but that is a bull flag. That's setting up a retest of this high here, just over 62.50. HO is already continuing higher. RBOB is already continuing higher. I've got possible rising wedges here. Wouldn't be astonished if those break up, and at the moment we are over resistance on both of them. Looking at NG, I'm wondering about a possible reversal here. We've got a 6-minute sell signal fix, hasn't made target yet, but I'm wondering if we might be making the highs. Could go higher, but we could be making the highs of the seasonal move up I've been talking about, and has taken us currently from about 3.6 to about 4.4. I do have a possible target in the 4.7 area that ideally would be made on this move. GC, we're still in a bullish, what looks like a bearish consolidation that could, of course, break up. This looks like a bearish triangle forming so far. If it breaks down and gets below the retest of this low here in the 3900 area, I've got the target for that in about the 3650 area. SI, I've got a target down in about the 39.75 area. Again, I'm watching to see if the right shoulder holds. Here, however, we have a possible IHS forming, and it's nice. It is very nice. If we see a breakup over the monthly pivot, sustained breakup over the monthly pivot, and I'll be looking for this to go up to 52.6 area and probably to go back and retest this high. Looking at palladium, again, head and shoulders, again, could be failing. Again, we are still waiting. Possible near miss target on the buy signal here and on platinum. This looks like a bear flag forming on platinum. HG, we had a nice looking little level top here. That's broken down and made target. We've been seeing a bit of a rally. I've got a little IHS has broken up with a target in the monthly pivot area, and that hasn't quite made target yet. 6-minute buy signals reached the possible near miss target. The bigger picture here, of course, is a larger double top here with support down here in about the 4.82 area. Sustained break below that, and we could go a lot lower. And honestly, I'm thinking that my lean is that will probably happen. Right, USD. We've been seeing a bit of a rally here. Do I have a decent trend line on the lows here? Sorry, at this through this bottom here? No, I don't. I had a look. I didn't get anything. GBP USD, again, we've got a clear resistance trend line, but no support trend line. So I'm not really seeing a pattern to break up from. USD JPY, we are testing this rising megaphone support. Almost got there here, almost made it now, thinking we may well see the full test now, and we will see. At the moment, this is forming like a bull flag, and this may be a bull flag forming from this high. Looking at USD CAD, bit of a retrace here, but I think just bullish consolidation. Australian dollar, seeing a bit of a rally here, possible 60-minute buy signal is reached possible near miss target. NZ, possible double bottom here, but I'm not really expecting that. I am thinking this looks like a bear flag, and it's probably going to deliver a retest of this low. KC, I'm still wondering about a retest of this high here, just over 437.50. SB, nice looking potential level bottom here, waiting to see if that delivers. CC, we have a very nice looking, a perfect bear flag channel. It's nice. 60-minute sell signals reached possible near miss target, but obviously looking at this, I'm kind of leaning towards seeing a retest of the lows here. I've got that in the 5,700 area. Looking at CT, this is a very nice looking rising megaphone, and it is starting to break down. If it continues to break down, then I've got actually not a bad looking head and shoulders here. Just draw that. Yeah, that's not bad looking at all. I'm thinking we might be breaking down from a this head and shoulders and with basically a target at a retest of the low. I'm liking that. It's a nice looking setup. We will see how that goes. All right, let's have a look at lumber. Bit of a rally here, expecting continuation down after this rally. 60-minute buy signal fixed, hasn't made target yet. Looking at ZW, I'm thinking we might be seeing big breaks up on ZW and corn, and these are things that I was saying that we might see big moves, bull moves from both of these over the next year or so, and I think that may be starting here. We will see how that goes. In terms of we do have possible topping type action without actually an obvious pattern. Corn, possible topping type action without an obvious pattern. Again, I'm thinking retracement. Might see a bit of a retracement here and then likely continue higher. Soy has actually managed on the tariff news to, and China negotiations news, and them starting to buy some soybeans. In fact, they'll almost be buying half of what they bought last year. So, major victory. We've got a double top here. Wondering if that might deliver. Bigger picture, I've been tracking a bull bear flag forming on soy all year, and we have currently broken up from that. So we'll see. That could be a bearish overthrow, but equally it could be the start of a decent bull move. On ZL, we've got an IHS which has broken up with a target in the 52 area. That's actually slightly above main double bottom resistance here. So I'm wondering if soybean oil might actually join soybeans on the upside. Nice looking IHS, it's broken up, and there's a nice looking double bottom as well. We could see a nested bottoming setup looking to deliver a move that could take us up potentially into about 55 area. Looking at live cattle, saw a rally here and we've continued down. We have, sorry, I haven't marked it in. I haven't marked it in my usual way here, but we've got a target down here, I think, at about the 214 to 216 area. Looking at HE, we've got a nice looking falling wedge, and that is starting to break up. We will see if that delivers. All right, great. Let's have a quick look at questions, of which we have none. In that case, pleasure as always. Everyone take care, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow morning.